So I think that by now most of us are familiar with the expression, don't I was gonna say don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to try, be afraid not to try. But I think most of us are familiar with the expression that says that you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. That's what we're talking about today. Yesterday we talked about how we need our goals to be part of our routines. We need to implement our goals as part of our routines. We talked about how our goals are a matter of fixed routines and flexible routines. So that's looking at what we want to do every single day at the same time for the same amount of days, or the things that we want to do for the same amount of time on different days. And we also talked about thinking of ourselves as morning people, evening people, weekend only people, so that the things that we want to do fit into our lives. Like we envision them as part of our mornings, part of our evenings, or part of our afternoons. We know where our goals belong in our routines. Now, the thing is, our routines need to have systems to be consistent. Routines are part of the things that give us structure, but we need to take it a level deeper and really think about where our hours are going. Now, I am in the data field. I am a data person. So I personally track a lot of things in my life. And I don't have an Apple Watch. I have a tracker. I have a goal tracker. I have a habit tracker. I track my sleeping hours. I track how much time I spend working. I track my habits. I track my routines. I track things to see where my time is going, to see how I'm spending my life. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, I want to be able to have a glimpse, an overview of where my time actually went. I feel like time goes by so fast, so quickly, that we don't realize the habits that creep in through the back door sometimes. And looking at our habits through a tracker, I feel tells the story in a very effective way. So I personally track these things in my life. So I have a tracker, I print it out, and I track my goals, my habits. I track my goals, my routines, my habits every day. And then at the end of the month, I have a beautiful, colorful tracker that shows me where my time has gone, where my hours have been spent, and where I need to make some adjustments. So there are 3 systems that you need to have in place. 1 is a planning system, 2 is a tracking system, and 3 is a review system. So you can set the different times when you're going to be planning, tracking, and reviewing, but these are the key 3 systems that your structure should consist of. So first is your planning system. So that is how you plan your day, your life, your month, your activities. I have a planner. I have a planner that I fill out on a monthly basis and on a weekly basis, and then I track things on a daily basis. So my planning system looks something like this. In the beginning or end of the month, I'll do a review of the previous month. I don't always do it thoroughly, but I do try to do a review of the previous month. And then I plan out the following month. So I plan out my activities. So I have daily activities. I have weekly activities, like if I have lessons or if I'm going to the gym or if I have plans to go out with friends, I put it all on my calendar. That's my monthly calendar. And then I break it down into weeks. So I do have somewhat of focus areas for each week in the month, because I am a woman. So, we got cycles. If you understand your energy, if you understand how your mood might change based on your cycle, then there's things that you would prioritize at a certain point, and then things that you would not do at another point in your month. So that's just for us women. You would understand what I'm talking about. But I feel like something I do keep in mind when I plan my week or my month is my mood. I know that I can't predict anything. I can't, like I said in the previous video, whatever I can control in my life, I am going to control it. Whatever I cannot control, I'm going to try to remember that I'm human and I can't control it. But I feel like if I control as much as I can of the things that I can control, then the things that I can't control won't impact me as much. Or if they do impact me, at least I'll know that I did my part. So now this is just God's part and this is just life happening. But whatever I can control, I try my best to control it. I'm not perfect. There's a lot of things I still need to do better. But I feel like in life, you should try to control as much as you can, because there's so much that we cannot control. So let's get it together where we actually have a say-so, right? So I will plan out my month, and then I'll plan out my weeks. I'll basically list all the things I want to get done in a specific month. I'll have my routine actions, and then I'll start jotting them down. So I'll have like a list of tasks that I have that I want to get done for a specific week. And then every day I kind of allocate the things I want to get done. In addition to my routine and to my daily habits or daily tasks, I have other things I want to specifically get done, and I'll add them. For example, if I want to make Amazon returns, that's not something I'm necessarily going to plan for a specific day. I'll just know that, okay, before my return window expires, I need to return these Amazon items. So I need to have it done by this date. So I'll plan it out for that week. Then I'll find out throughout my week where I can do it. So I'll plan it out for a day, and maybe I know that, okay, I'm going to go out and do groceries. So I'll take that opportunity to also do my Amazon returns. So that's kind of how my planning works. So the second system you need is a tracking system. So as I said earlier on in the video, I track a lot of things in my life. I track my routines, I track my time, I track my goals, I track my habits. Some of them kind of mix together, but overall, I track as much as I can in my life. I track it with simple trackers that I create in Canva, simple trackers that I create and that I print out, and then with markers of different colors, I keep track of them. So figure out what are the things that you want to track and why you want to track them. I keep track of my time. I don't keep track of things like, okay, I'm spending 1 hour on Instagram, simply because it's not a goal for me to spend less time on social media, because I don't necessarily spend as much time as I think I do. I'm tracking my time for things that matter to me, that are part of the goals that I want to achieve, and where I want to make sure that I am allocating as much time as I need to these things. For example, if I'm trying to read a book and my goal is to read 1 book per month per se, I need to make sure that I have time that I'm allocating to actually reading that book. So my reading time is going to be something I'll be tracking throughout the weeks and months. And if I find out over 2 weeks that my reading time is only an hour, that's a problem. And then it just rings a bell in my head and reminds me that I need to be careful and actually spend the time that needs to be spent. So that's kind of the things that I track. I track my time with, and then some other things like we talked about our elimination audit, where we needed to stop certain things, pause certain things, adjust certain things. Simple things like seeing how much time you're spending. I'm a Christian, so how much time you're spending at church, for example. And if I find that I spent a lot of time at church, and in this season of life, I need that time. I need to get that time back to do it and to invest it in other things that God has put in my heart to do, then my time tracker is going to be able to tell me that. My time tracker is going to be able to tell me, you've spent, I don't know, 10 hours this week going to church to serve, for sermons, for this and that, or at work. If I realize that I am working overtime consistently, then that tells me there's something that needs to be changed at work, because why am I taking on so many more responsibilities, and why am I spending so many more hours at work without making the adjustments that are necessary? So that's why I keep track of my time. And I just feel like I'm looking at it right now, my time tracker. It's just beautiful for me to see all these colors, and it just tells me right away where my time is going in a specific month. Right now I'm tracking my time over 3 months, and I love seeing it right now. I love seeing the amount of hours I spend sleeping, how much time I spend praying, how much time I spend working, and it just shows me right away where I need some adjustments. I'm looking at it right now, and I spent a lot of hours recording content these past weeks, for example. So that's why I want to be done with this series. Another thing that I track are my routines. So a lot of it is just like my beauty routine, like when do I get my hair done? Like for example, I want to grow my hair right now. I want to make sure that I'm being consistent with my hair routine. So I track like when I wash my hair. I track things like when I go to the hair salon to get my ends clipped. I track like how often I do deep conditioning, just things like that tell me, am I really investing the time that I say I want to invest into growing my hair, so that if I get to the end of the year and my hair is still neck length, then my time will tell me you did not invest the time that was needed for this hair to grow. So you can't be mad at nobody but yourself, because you didn't invest the time that you needed for this to be done. So that's why I track it. And finally, something else that I track are my habits. So I have my aim, like my objective for every area of my life of who I want to become by the end of this year. And then I have the goals that support who I'm supposed to become, my priority outcomes. So I have my priority outcomes for these areas, like my goals for these areas. And then I have the habits that support it, because an aim is different from a goal. A goal is different from a habit. A goal tells you, like, a goal is specific. We all know the SMART acronym for goals. It's specific, it's measurable, it's all these things. But a habit is like, it's not a goal. It's different. I'm not sure how I can phrase this difference, how I can describe this difference, but a goal is different than a habit. So I list my aim, my goal, and my habit, and then what I do on a daily is keep track of my habits. I don't keep track of my goals. I mean, I keep track of the habits that support my goals to make sure that I'm working towards my goal, which then show me if I'm becoming who I want to become. So that's kind of the sequence for me. Your aim, your goals, your habits, your routines. That's how I see it. Might be missing something in there, but that's what's been working for me. So that's something I track. And so I'll track things like how often I read. I'll track different things, but I have trackers. So these trackers are important to me. They're part of my system, and every day I fill them out. It doesn't take me long. It's like just I wake up and I keep track. So that's the second system that you. And the thing I love about tracking is that it tells you in a split second, what have you been doing? It tells you right away, are you on track? If your goal is to read 3 times a week and you see that over 3 weeks you've only read once a week, then you know that you're not on track. You don't need to spend hours looking at your planner and all. Like, you see it right away. Like, you know that you're not on track. I'm looking at my planner and I'm looking at my tracker right now, and I can see where I'm not on track. I can see the things that I sacrificed for other things because I see the colors right there. So I love tracking systems. I really do. And I think they're very helpful. So that's number 2. Now, number 3 is a review system. And that's basically taking what you plan to do, looking at your tracker to see what you actually did, and reconciling the difference between both. You plan to do something, your tracker shows you what you actually did. Why is there a difference? Why is there a gap? That's what your review system answers. Why is there a gap between what you said you were going to do and what you actually did? Sometimes the gaps are very explainable. They're very understandable. Things happen. Life happens. But sometimes it hints at you. It tells you that there's something you need to adjust, something you need to stop, something you need to do differently. And that's what your review system tells you. Now, I try to review my day on a daily. I really don't do anything thorough. I just plan my next day. And simply in planning my next day, it tells me what I didn't get done for that specific day. And it gives me a review of the day. Like, if I had tasks, I strike them out. And then the ones I didn't strike out, I see right away that I didn't get to them. And I kind of have a sense of why I didn't get to them. Was it laziness? Was it putting things off? Was it I got distracted? Was there I didn't have any capacity? Like, what was it? It tells me that right away. So I do like a really simple and quick review of my day and then plan the next day before I go to sleep every day. I really try to do that because it helps me stay on track and stay focused. Now, I've been trying to do a weekly review, and that hasn't been working out too well. But I really want to get to a point where I can actually review my week and highlight my wins, highlight my losses, highlight the things I want to improve and the things I want to celebrate. So I want to celebrate some things. I want to improve and work on some things. I'm trying to have that weekly review. Now, I have a monthly review as well. So daily, weekly, monthly. You might not want to do a weekly review. You might just need a daily and monthly review. You might just need a bi-weekly review. Like, there are certain areas of my life where I honestly don't do a review every single week. Like my finances, I feel like once I have a plan for the month and I'm keeping track of that plan, I really don't need to spend too much time reviewing my finances every week. I don't do that. I have a plan, I keep track, and then on a monthly basis, or maybe every 2 to 3 weeks, I just check to see if I'm on track. And if I'm not on track, then I make the adjustments when I do the planning for the next month. So that's what I do. You can do what you want to do, but just have a review system. A system that allows you to know if there is a gap between what you planned on doing and what you actually did, and then try to understand why that gap is there. That's the purpose of your review system. So that's it for today. So the idea is to have a planning system, have a tracking system, and have a review system. You can use tools. You can be old school like I am and just put it on an Excel sheet, or use Canva and print it out, put it on your wall and track your goals, or plan your life with a planner. Just put it on a piece of paper. Or you can use an online tool. There's a lot of people who use online tools. They use apps. You can do that too. I just like to write things down. So I like to feel and touch the paper. So that's how I do it. And then have a review system. Decide on how often you're going to do these things. How often are you going to track aspects of your life? Like my finances, I don't necessarily track them every day. I track them on a periodic basis. My goals and my habits, I track them every day because I need to keep tabs on them every single day. How often are you going to plan your life? I plan my month, and then I plan my days, and in planning my days, I plan my weeks. So that's me. But you do what works for you. Just make sure that you're able to have systems in place that will support your goals and allow you to rise to them, so you don't fall to a level that's too low for your systems. So we are done. So that's your homework for today. A planning system, a review system, a tracking system. 3 systems to allow you to stay on top of your goals and on top of your routines. I will see you for the next day. Bye.